Hey, Editing Richie here. I just wanted to let you guys know that the beginning of this recording wasn't that great in quality. The sound and picture just wasn't good. So I've cut about 15, 20 minutes. Aside from that, I haven't done an interview in quite a few years. It's been a long time since I got my journalism degree. So I'm kind of rusty, and there's a couple of ums and uhs in there that really shouldn't be there. Hopefully, it's not too distracting for you guys and you can get past it and you can enjoy the video. That said, let's get to it. So middle school, high school, girlfriends?
No, no.
None?
I never had a girlfriend. First girlfriend and last girlfriend was 21.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
hmm
All right. So we're actually going to get to that in a little bit. When you were
Okay.
in school, what did you plan on being? Like when you pictured yourself as an adult?
Hmm. How early on would you think? Like high school?
Sure.
Huh. You know, I never actually had a thought for a particular job, like from high school days. I never thought like, oh, I'll be this. My grand goal was always because I was very into I guess you would call it like a spirituality, kind of like an opening of chakras to kind of reach your highest potential of being. That's kind of like what was my thing at that time. I was trying to just be as most whole as possible. I had my favorite TV show, the Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that was like a lot of that show was Aang kind of going through the trials and tribulations, going through the hero's journey, opening up his chakras so he can become the Avatar who can defeat the evil in the world. So I almost had that kind of mindset. So I was like, how what are the different things I can go through to kind of open up all these chakras, whatever you want to call them, to become like the most well-rounded person I could possibly be. And in doing that, my goal for the future, like going out years and stuff, it was always like the goal from early on. It wasn't a job. It wasn't like who you're gonna be. It was just I want to find well the person I care about most in this world, like the love of my life, whoever that would be at that time, uh, and literally just like a thought of hitting such a high level on a spiritual plane that I would just kind of exist out into the atmosphere, like go out to the galaxies. Like it wasn't, it was totally crazy. It was totally in my brain and like that like third eye chakra kind of talking. It wasn't grounded. It wasn't rooted in physical reality. It was more of a goal for how could I don't know. How could I become one with the universe, I
Right.
guess. Something like that. Like, so it's a weird answer, I get it, but that's just who I was, 10 plus years ago.
So did becoming one with the universe lead you to college?
I never became one with the universe. That got cut short. So um not not immediately. But I did end up going to college on my own accord. Just because I thought to myself at that time, well, I didn't go to college until I was 21. I decided for myself that if I was going to be out in the working world, whatever job that may be, I would beat out anybody else who didn't have a college degree. So I was like, all right, if all things are equal, if I have the college degree, I win. I'll get hired for the job. So that was my only reason for doing it. And I had like a business major. Um, and that was about it. I did it for a year, and then I dropped out. I said, "This is what a waste of time for me personally. I don't think it's a waste of time for everybody, but for me, I was like, I'm just gonna keep working. I was already working for years at this point, so I'm just gonna keep making money and saving.
Yeah.
That's it."
So how did you go from going to be a business major to being a driving instructor?
So, it's a good question. Well, I was already working for the driving school from 19, and I was working at 19 years old. I got started at the driving school. It was right after I quit my job at Stop and Shop pushing carts, and I was working in the office. So I was answering phones, selling people packages on, driving lessons, road tests, getting in for the 5 hour class, which is a class you need in New York to be able to take your road test for the future. So, if you learn how to drive, take the 5 hour class, those two things, now you can take a road test and get your license. So I was doing that in the office. And then I got to the age of like around 21. And in New York, you legally, to be able to teach people how to drive, you have to be 21, and you have to have 2 years of a clean driving record. So I got to 21, and they said, "Hey, you're in the office. The kind of the business. You talk to these drivers. You know what the deal is. Do you want to become a driver?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah," because at this time I was like just saying yes to everything, every opportunity that arose. I was a paper boy, I think still, or maybe I was just ending it around that time. Um, I was also teaching English online and stuff, so I was just saying yes to everything. So I was like, driving school, driving teacher, sure, let's do it. So once 21 hit, I took the tests and became a driving teacher. And then I think that's also when I was doing college. So I think I dropped out of college when I guess I was 22, I guess, like a year later. So I just pretty much, yeah, just went ham and just went full-time driving teacher and in the office, and then got rid of the school.
Mm. So what's the scariest, craziest thing that happened to you as a driving instructor?
All right, let's do it. Finally, I've been waiting to say the story. I have a million stories, but the one I like to repeat to people when they ask the scariest story was the one that actually was the most dangerous, because I had a million situations where they turn the wheel, there's like a parked truck here, and then the mirror smashes off the car, and I have to go find the mirror and go pick that up. Like, that's common, that's fine.
Holy
Or
crap, that's common.
like, yeah, it's a normal Tuesday afternoon, when you're supposed to be, that's it. But there's other times when they're making a right turn, you're like, I know what to do. Like, I remember getting in the car with this girl, and she was like, and it's a bad sign when you get in the car with them, whoever it is, and they say, "Oh, you see that car over there? I did that." And you look at the car, and it's like the whole back fender is destroyed. It's like, that's a vote of confidence. Thanks for telling me. I appreciate it. It's a forewarning. And the first thing she was like, I remember she was like, "I know how to drive. I just don't know how to park." I was like, man, the way that case sounded on that park, man, I don't know. And then she literally, the first turn away from her house, she went up the curb, like
Uh,
off the curb, and just kept driving. She was the same one actually that knocked the mirror off. That's right. It was like a following lesson. Yeah, she was horrible. But one of my favorite stories was this one lady. She was from, I think she was from Guyana. Yeah, she's from Guyana. And the thing about the Guyanese is they're nice people. They're very nice people. I like them a lot. But they really don't know how to drive. It doesn't matter, male or female. They're very not good drivers. I don't know why, but this is what I've seen over the years. And they're a little bit crazy occasionally, but that's beside the point. Um, and I would tell them this too to their face, and they laughed. But this one Guyanese lady, she came in the car, and she had like a club foot or something. Like, there was a big like a cast on her foot, and her foot was like this big. It was giant, and this will be important to the story in a second. But a giant foot. So she gets in the car, moves the foot in like this, and puts it where it's supposed to be. This is her road test day, and I've driven with her once before, and she's maybe in her 50s, and like I said, not a great driver, just kind of all over the road, goes over the middle yellow lines, comes back, almost hitting parked cars. I got to pull the wheel away. So on this particular occasion, I picked her up, and it was me and her, and in the back we had another student who was a very good driver. I think she was from Colombia. She was cool. I liked her a lot. And so we were all driving together, and we were going down. So we were driving down a street called Richmond Avenue, and we were going towards the Staten Island Mall. And for nobody who knows Staten Island, it's pretty much an 8-lane road. So it's like 4 on this side, 4 on this side, and the middle divider. So we're going down, and we're going about 35, 40 miles an hour, just normal for that road. And we're getting to where I see, like, oh, there's a red light coming up ahead. There's a red light. And I see a minivan, like everyone stopped, and there's a minivan in front of us, and we're still going 40, and we're getting like a little bit closer. So I'm like, all right, is she going to start hitting the brake, or what are we doing? And I'm sitting in the passenger seat, like, what are we doing here? So I see her kind of like looking down like this, and she's like, I hear the thing moving, like the brake moving, and she's like fudging. I just look over, and I'm like, what? And then she's like, what am I? She's like, why is it not working? What's going on? And I'm like, just hit the brake. And then she says, but I am. And I see her foot go down to the floor, and nothing's happening. Like the car is not slowing down. And I'm like, oh, we're getting a little bit closer to this minivan now. We're getting like within 100, we're like 150 feet now. And I'm like, okay, you know, or maybe like 100 feet now. And I'm like, oh, come on. What am I going to deal with this for? And then I hit the brake on my side, and then nothing happens, and it hits the floor and nothing happens. So I'm like, oh no. I'm like, we're going 40 miles an hour going towards this minivan, which I know this has to be probably like a newborn baby in the back seat. They just got home from the hospital, like the worst possible. Like, I'm just thinking the worst scenario possible. And we're going 40, and now we're like within 30 feet. And, you know, 40 miles an hour, you're moving like very, you know, we're moving, I don't know, 5 feet a second or 10 feet a second, whatever it is, the math. So last second, I'm like, okay, we're about to hit this car. And we get within 10 feet, I no joke, 10 feet. And I take the wheel, I pull it this way. We go 40 miles an hour over the middle barrier, doon, 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 doon. And I also look real quick because I noticed the other side of the street, the other 4 lanes are, it just turned green, I think, or no, it was still red. It was still red, and we go over, and I'm like, okay, I have like probably a few seconds because we just turned red there. You know, maybe this is gonna turn green in a second. Go over the middle barrier, turn onto a side road, and then I just let the momentum die out, and then I kind of pull us over, and then I put the car in park. But we had to go from 40 to 30 to 20, 10, 0, and then we go in park. I put it in park, and I relaxed for a second. And I said, what the hell just happened? And basically what ended up happening was her club foot, remember I said the club foot was going to come back to the story. Basically, her foot was so big and gigantic that it was up so high that it twinged the brake line between the brake pad and whatever it you know, connects to the brake line. And so the fluid was not able to go through like it twinged in the wire, and the fluid's not allowed to go to the brake line, which means the brake can, you know, doesn't actually compress. It doesn't push the brake pads together. So you know, and after all this, right, I go through all this mess, and I have the, you know, my dad, who is also a mechanic, come by, and we try to figure out the issue, and then like again, and then the wires kind of expanded again, and the brakes started working again. And the nerve of her, remember I told you it was her road test day. After all this that she put me through, and remember, she almost killed us way before this ever happened. So this was, and the nerve of her, she said, "Are we still gonna have time for parking?" I was like, "You shouldn't be driving ever."
Did you tell her that?
Never. No, I didn't say anything. I was just quiet. But in my head, I was like, "You almost killed us 50 times before this ever happened." I get it. Like, your club foot broke the car, but I was like, I've never had someone break the brake, and you know. So that was my favorite story because it was the most dangerous. Like, had any of these little things, like if I didn't pull the wheel enough, we would hit the minivan. Had the barrier been taller, we would have just flipped the car over. Had the green light been on, you know, on the other side, we would have got T-boned. Like, there was a million different things that could have happened
And you know
that
what's
would have
crazy
ruined
to
this.
me
But
about that is
no.
the design of the car, right? That like your brake, I guess, flowed through the same brake line as hers. And so
Yeah.
even like car manufacturers need to fix that if they haven't already.
Yeah, well,
In the training.
basically, it's hard to do for the training cars because you have to have a bar come across, and it actually attaches straight to the bar that connects to the driver's brake. Otherwise, I don't even know. There's like a spring that they can introduce and stuff, but a lot of mechanics don't touch it because they're afraid of like liability issues. So it's
Yeah.
hard to even find a mechanic that'll do that, but it works like 99% of the time.
But the
But
van with the newborn baby in the back seat delivering puppies to the orphanage was okay.
yes, they were
Okay,
fine.
good.
Yes, thank
Good.
God.
Good.
Thank God. And everyone was, and then they were like happy afterwards, like, "Oh, thank you for saving our lives." Me, I was like, "Yeah, I know." I was like, me too. I'm happy.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Jesus, and it was.
you got you got the
Mhm.
little Superman curl in your hair. You're obviously a hero.
That's right. That's right. But there was like a million things like that. I remember the alternator like went, and like so the battery completely died on me while I was driving once, and that means no power steering, no power brakes. So I'm like,
Right.
you know, I'm just, yeah, it's horrible. It's
So
a
how many
million
years do you
stories I
think
can
that
tell you.
job took off your life?
You know, you laugh, but like I remember I was getting like I was seriously theorizing because I remember I was getting home after like 12, 15-hour days, and I was just like just falling asleep like this on the couch, like that. I was like, oh my God. I was like, maybe this job's taking a lot out of me that I'm just not even realizing. Like, because it is constant stress. Whether it didn't really affect me. I'm always very timid with a lot of this. Not timid, but like stoic again. Like with all that stuff. If it's a crazy situation, I'm usually pretty calm about it after thousands of near accidents and saving the day for whatever reason. Um, but I think it was like those little stressors that you don't fully realize, like they're driving a little too close to the like, oh, they're getting a little too close to the thing. Okay, let me pull the wheel away. Okay, let me hit the brake a little bit. They're getting a little too close to the person in front of them. Little things like that. It's stressful for
All right.
sure.
All right. So if any of those things had gone differently, you might not have been around to meet your wife, but how did you meet your wife?
Well, well,
She was in the van.
just so happens she was in the van, yeah. No, but actually, oddly enough, she happened to be a student of mine.
Oh.
She was learning how to drive. Yeah. So without that job, I either could have died or I never would have met my wife regardless. So I had to have that job to get to me where I am now. Yeah. So 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 yeah, she was my student, and I always like to joke when I say that, and it says I waited till she was 21, right? But I'm kidding. We were both the same age. So everybody, when they hear driver's ed student like driving teaching, they think they're 16 and I'm 50. That's their immediate assumption. But
Uh-huh.
no, I drove with people of all ages. So no, we were both 21. We actually went to the same school together since middle school, and I knew of her, but we never met before, never talked to each other. I told you I was a recluse. I didn't talk to anybody, so nobody knew me. But I knew of them because I was a watcher and I observed, and I was a little creepy. But so she was she was somebody I knew of, and we got in the car that one day, and oh no, actually, I was supposed to pick her up at 1:30 on October 8th. That was when we met. So it was like 1:30 October 8th. So I go to her house and nobody shows up. And I text her, I say, hey, I'm here for the lesson. And nobody shows up. I said, you gotta be kidding me. And then her mom comes out, and at first I was like, because I knew of her name, and I was like, I know what she looks like, and I was like, well, maybe I got it wrong. Maybe it's a different person. I thought her mom might have been her, but then she came over. She said, oh no, she called the school to change the lesson time or to cancel it because she had like a work training or something, which was true. They did call, and just the people in the back office didn't correct it, so they made the mistake in the office. So I went there. Technically, as per the rules in my driving school, if you show up to the house and no one comes out and you're on the lesson, scheduled for the lesson, I can charge her for the lesson, and I don't have to do the lesson. I could just leave, right? So I could have easily just take the money and run. But when she responded back like an hour late or a few hours later, I think it was like 3 o'clock or something, when she was done doing her thing, she was like, I am so sorry about that. Like it was a whole long text, and it was I really liked the way she texted. Like it was very enthusiastic. It was very I don't know, boisterous, whatever the word is, and it was just fun. Like the way she texted was fun. And a little bit thing, one thing I was doing around this time, like I became a driving teacher in August, so we met in October. So this is 2 months. So for those 2 months, let's just say that whoever had a good looking permit picture in the office, they would happen to be scheduled under my schedule. Like, it would just they just somehow ended up in my car for driving lessons. Listen, what do you want from me? All right, listen, I was 21. What do you want from me? So that was another occasion. So upon knowing who she was, her permanent picture, and just how cool she was on text, I was like, well, I could always come back later at like 5:30 or something after I was like done with everything. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much. That would be amazing. I really appreciate, like, just super appreciative. So I did that. Went to go pick her up, 5:30. Cool. She came out, and it basically just immediately there was this good energy. We had a good conversation, and we drove a little bit, and I basically I was like alluded to that we went to the same school together, so that was, we were like, oh, who do you know or whatever, and then eventually the conversation devolved into just, you know of course we're supposed to be there on a driving lesson, but can't talk about driving for a full hour. So we ended up talking about driving. And okay, here's how to parallel park. Oh, do you have a boyfriend? No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But we got into cool conversations about yoga and chakras because that was what I was into, and that's what she was into too. So it was a good conversation, and we ended up going over an hour. It was like an hour and a half. So, and then I ended up having a few other lessons after that where we went 2 hours, more, and then eventually she passed her road tests on a particular day. I think it was October 18th. I think it was, yeah, it might have been only 10 days after or something like that. And then she's a yoga teacher, and she said, hey, if you want to come to my yoga class, um, come there. And I said, huh. I said, I still have the driving school because I was able to take the driving school car home. I said, well, I still have the driving school car if you want to drive yourself there. I was like, this is perfect. This is a perfect, like, get in, like, it just makes sense. Right. We were just hanging out. This was over many, many conversations and many texts off the record and stuff. So we ended up hanging out, and I let her drive the entire day. We went to yoga together, and then she drove just like for 6 hours after that. So we literally, like, the first time we ever met outside of the driving school teaching, we had like an 8 hour driving lesson, but basically an 8 hour date where I got to really get to know her, and what I didn't know now, or what I didn't know then, was I was slowly falling in love at that time. So that's how we met. It's a good story. I like it.
So was she a good student? Was she a good
She was a
driver?
very good student. Oh
Was she a good driver?
she was already. God, people are gonna see this and be like, Anthony, you're such a creep. What's wrong with you? Um, yeah, she was good. She was already doing lessons for a couple of years at this point. But she never had like the full confidence behind the wheel, and that
Mhm.
was something that she said I gave her because I was very relaxed and calm, and she didn't feel um like she had some situations with other teachers where like they didn't even know what to do in certain situations. Like there was a car about to hit them, and like they were like, oh, and I think she appreciated the fact that things could go wrong, and I just let her go. Like I didn't freak out, and I didn't scream or anything like that, which I never screamed at all. But she was good. Yeah, she was already driving for a bit. She just I had to teach her a little bit how to park, and that was about it. She was already ready to pass.
So any of the ladies who were one of your previous students who happen to see this are going to start to question things now.
Uh-oh. Well, there was there was a few of them. There's a few of them, but I never ended up going much further with them anyway.
Yeah. um, so I guess who would you say actually made the first move? Like, who was the one who was like, okay, this is going to become something more than just friends and hanging out, and made the move?
Um, so me. So I was the one that made the first move. Because I remember it very vividly. It was a particular day. I was talking to my dad about her, and you know, so okay, okay. To be able to say this, I have to. No, I won't say that. But basically, there was a day where I was like, man, I do like her, and I was talking to my dad about it, and he was like, well, did you tell her that? I was like, no, I didn't. We've just been hanging out. We're just friends and stuff like that, and I said if it does evolve into something, then sure. He was like, well, how is she ever gonna know if you don't tell her? And he said that, I was like, I said it makes sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So after that conversation, I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And I got out. I went into my car. I called her, and I basically just told her all my feelings for her, and she didn't quite understand at the time. I was like, I feel like we have really good times together, and there's a lot to like drum up the confidence to do this. Remember, this is somebody who's never even really talked to a girl till I was 21. So this is monumental leaps and bounds for me to actually get on the phone and be like, I think we have good times together. I want to keep having good times with you, however I phrase it at that time. And then, going through with that. So she was kind of confused, and she was like, thank you for telling me. And then I remember after like 20 minutes, we got off the phone. Yeah, yeah, right. And I was
Thanks.
like, and I thank you for telling me. Like very like sweet, and there was other things that were happening, and she was like emotional at that time, and that I don't want to get into, but um uh, but then and then I came back. I told her, and I went in my room and I said, I have to be okay with anything that happens at this point. And going into the call, I was like, I have to be okay with not ever talking to her again, but also okay with what happens after if she does, you want the same as me. So I had to be okay with that. So I got back home, went into my bed, and I was just doing what I normally do, YouTube, and just thinking, really, just kind of watching videos, but not really watching, just thinking like, wow, crazy, I just said that. Like, did I say everything correctly? Did it make sense? Like, I don't know, did I say it the right way? And a few hours later, it was like 11 o'clock. She texted me saying, like, Wendy's run, because that's what we were always doing. We were always going to Wendy's, getting and sitting in the parking lot and just talking for hours until like 1 a.m. every day. So she said, Wendy's run. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay. I said, absolutely. And like, she lived 3 minutes away from me. So got there in like 10 minutes. And yeah, we hung out the entire night. There's a nice little spot for anybody who goes to Staten Island. Anybody from Staten Island, you go you go up to St. Francis. No, what's it called? Up to like the Wagner College. There's a spot that overlooks the bridge, the Verrazano Bridge. In the nighttime, it's all lit up. You can see people going into Manhattan. Very romantic. And and we sat there and we talked for hours. And then I remember there was a particular time where we were holding hands and we were kind of doing this kind of thing, just establishing touch. And I remember she said something like, I'm not going to be the one to make the first move. Like, you have to. You have to. And in my head, I was like, okay, I know this is something I have to do. And this is like so hard for me. This never made sense to me. Am I actually going to kiss a girl for the first time? This doesn't even make sense. So I got her out of the car, gave her a nice spin, a dip in front of a nice light lit up bridge and everything. Gave her a kiss with figuring out how to. I don't even know what I did. It was probably just one of these. Just it was a kiss like that, horrible kiss. And then I kind of just hugged her, and after that, and then we got in the car, and then it became more. But that's that was basically the first move, and from that day on, we just hung out every day. And we still do.
You didn't say "milady" when you dipped her, did you?
Well, what I didn't tell you was she kicked one leg up. I tipped the fedora, and then and then
You had a beard at the
I
time.
said, yeah, yes, yes, and it was on a balcony too, actually, oddly enough, and her name is Juliet. Um, no, no, it was as fairy tale as you can get. I pat myself on the back, being 5 years removed now. I'm happy I did it the way I did.
Nice, nice.
you know.
So,
hmm
so you guys pretty much on the same page as far as things like finances, plans for the future, or
No, we hate each other. Could you imagine after all that? Horrible. We have nothing in common.
yeah,
Um, no, yeah, no, but like
yeah.
basically 100%. Finances, grow our wealth for the future. So this way we never have to worry about money. We come from very similar households. We both have a scarcity mindset with money, so we want to save as much as possible. Save first mentality, spend later. Similar goals to the future for what we want to buy, like, I don't know, real estate and all this stuff, and where we want to live. Um, Philosophies and morals are all very similar. You know, um, treat others how you want to be treated. Very biblical stuff. you know, overall, just a great person, and very appreciative of her mindset and everything. So yeah, we're pretty much on the same page with virtually everything,
So you said a
which is
couple of
good.
times back then, you and her, you were both in the chakras and stuff like that. But you kept saying like past tense. Is that not what you're into now?
I still am, but it's kind of on the back burner at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my life it was spent starting. So I mean, I can go into it if you want, but basically, I feel like I started out with my third eye chakra opened, which is usually like the last one people open to you kind of, when your third eye chakra, the way I see it manifest is you have no care for any earthly possession. So that's me not caring about what the bullies say, me not caring how I look. So I had holes in my shirt and jeans. I didn't care what people thought of me. It was me not being attached to reality, me not being grounded whatsoever, and me just kind of thinking about that ethereal, mystical kind of out in space kind of thing, metaphysically, and all those types of thoughts. So I feel like that was open from an early age for me, but I've had to work my entire life to bring myself down to my physical body, which everyone, I think, not everyone, but a lot of people tend to have naturally. Like, this is why guys are usually very aggressive in high school, and there's fighting, and they're loud. I had to learn how to get grounded and actually even project my voice, learn how to talk, talk to people, communicate, care about things in the physical plane, care about money. I didn't care about any of that stuff, early on. So I feel like now is the time where I'm still in my physical form, where it's been like this since like 21, and I need to continue grounding myself and just kind of game the system as much as I can. I want to win the game of the physical reality, which is, in my mind, is just have enough money where I don't have to worry about it, and all the interpersonal relationships with people that I meet every single day, and living in the moment. That was something that was also very hard. So that's all physical realities. I think at a certain point, once I meet all those physical needs, I think I probably will end up going back to more of maybe a hybrid, where I'm kind of like in both worlds. And maybe there's a lot of things, and there's still a lot of things I have to learn and open up. So I just feel like for now it's not going to serve me necessarily to kind of actively work on opening up some of my chakras. Maybe it will, but it's just not in my forefront. So I'm like, let's just do the physical game, which is editing YouTube videos and growing a YouTube channel and becoming a real estate agent. That's what I want to do.
There you go. How did you go from driving school to real estate agent?
So driving school was
Oh,
19 to 24,
hold
huh?
on, I lost your audio. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I totally lost your audio.
No.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
No.
Okay.
Oh,
So
we back.
here's a cut. Okay.
Oh no.
So go ahead. How did you?
Now you're frozen.
I'm frozen.
Oh, we
Oh
lost him.
no!
We lost Richie.
It was going so smooth.
We lost Richie.
Can you hear me at least? No. Oh, he's gone.
Are you back? I know I'm here.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello.
I'm here.
I can see and hear you.
I can see and hear you.
Oh, okay. So we're good.
Yes.
Okay. So the question was, how did you go from driving school to real estate?
So 19 to 24 was all driving school. 24 is when her family decided to move down to South Carolina from New York, and they gave them the option to come with them and live with them for the time being. So I decided, against everything else I knew in life, which was driving school and Staten Island and my family, and despite everyone telling me not to do it, I did it anyway. So I came down to South Carolina for something new and to take that plunge into the unknown. And that's where I decided that that's where I came down here, and I had free time because no job, no nothing. So I'm here with all the time in the world to do whatever I want. And from 21 on, I was watching people like Meet Kevin, Graham Stephan, all these guys who talk about real estate, stocks, etc. And I said, I'm finally going to do it, and I'm going to become a real estate agent. So no longer than I think a few months after getting down here, I was already enrolled in a school, paid for it all, and started taking classes, and ended up meeting my mentor for real estate, who was actually the teacher of the class and now my broker in real estate, oddly enough. So it's great how that worked out. And I got licensed last August, actually. So a little over a year now I've been a realtor down here.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you said, they asked you to move down there with them. You did, and you mentioned there's a lot of free time. So you guys want kids? I got a lot of free time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was when we first got down here a year and a half ago. Now I don't have free time, but I still have free time. But yeah, we want kids. Currently, no. I would say that's probably gonna happen within 2 years. I would say within 2 years, probably have kids. We want to travel just a little bit more. Want to hit up Italy, Japan, maybe one other country. Use these points and miles while we can. Have the kid, probably lay low for a few years, and then start traveling with them. After that fact. But we won't know until we actually do it. I have no experience with it yet, so we'll see. But that's the plan so far. I would probably say within a couple of years.
Yeah. So just one.
If we're doing very well financially, I mean, as many as we feel like. I mean, if you do well financially, sure. Multiple, 5, 6,
Yeah.
10. I don't know. If not, 1, 2. Wait a couple of years. Something like that. We'll have to see. Yeah.
If you have one, do you want it to be a boy or a girl?
Girl, 100%.
What do you think she would want?
Yeah. She does. I think she also wants a girl, but she's also a little fearful because the girl mother relationship could be one that gets carried down the line. Doesn't always have to be, but I think she's wary of it. And I think she leans more. I don't know. I think she's actually right in the middle, but I think she would lean more towards a girl. And I think that's also somewhat because I want a girl, and she leans more towards wanting to see me have a girl as well. So I think it would work for both of us.
So you both want a girl. So to your future son, Andy. Sorry, dude.
Oh no, that's right. I forgot. If you have a kid, you're gonna have to talk to. Well, look, he's gonna learn how to do a lot of cool things. So we're gonna have a good time too, I guess. He's gonna be gross. Guys are just gross.
Yeah.
Guys are just gross. Girls are cool. They're funny. Yeah. That's how it is. But they'll be all right. We'll teach him everything we got to teach him, and then he'll go on his own path at some point. I'm sure he'll figure out his own way down the line.
So you guys got married in Vegas. Was that planned? Or was it just kind of
Hey.
we're here, let's do it?
So, no, it wasn't planned. I mean, it was planned up until like 3 days prior, but before that, no. Basically, we were going to be going to Vegas for the creator meetup. Luke's Points and Miles setting up the creator meetup for the credit card enthusiasts. So we were going down there, and I remember we were in Wilmington, North Carolina. We were on a trip, and we were just kind of thinking like, we just had a conversation about it, Vegas. We were like, do we want to do that? Like wedding in Vegas? Does that make sense? We were just kind of thinking about it on a walk one night, and we're like, does it make sense? And it kind of felt all right. It kind of felt okay in our bodies, and it would be a lot less stress because you don't have to deal with family, you don't have to deal with friends, you don't have to deal with anything. Which, not to say we really dealt with it, but it was just a little bit hard to schedule that out, have everyone come down. There's a lot of moving parts in a wedding. So, upon doing all of that, we're like, and nobody can get mad at you for getting married in Vegas too. It's like, oh, we just did it. Everybody does it. So, actually, let me just move this car. Oh no, he'll be fine. Never mind. I'll move it after. So he, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so we didn't have to deal with any of that. So no, like literally, she wanted to make a YouTube video about it because it was literally, we planned it in 3 days. It was we got the chapel, got professional photographer, got the hair and makeup to come to the room and get everything done all within 3 days. Got there, plan worked out flawlessly, and it was, I can honestly say I do not regret it. We do not regret. Both of us do not regret Vegas whatsoever. It was the most fun time. In fact, I think it could not have gone better. I think it was perfect. Absolutely. I recommend that to everyone now, I think.
So did you guys let your families know beforehand, or was it a surprise to them?
Her family knew. Mine, I still have to tell, actually. I still didn't tell them. Yikes. Let's cut. Well, Yeah, I gotta tell him. Yeah, well, I don't know. There's some things going on over there, so I don't want to spoil what's going on. So
Yeah.
they got some things happening. So I was like, let me just wait till the right time. So I've been talking to them. I just haven't told them that yet.
Yeah.
But I'm always like this. My whole life I've always been like that. Any life events, I've always like delayed telling them. Like, I don't know, it's just how I just forget sometimes. But yeah, so her family knew, mine didn't know. And a couple of our friends knew, and it was great. No, I love it. I love the way it worked out.
Nice. Um, okay. So, what do you think your wife's favorite thing about you is? Oh,
My
PG.
curl.
Oh, okay. Your girl.
My PG. How dare you? She likes the glasses. No. I would. I mean, it's an interesting question, right? I never actually. I've thought about it, but what would be? So I would say probably her favorite thing is probably going to be. I would probably say one of the most attractive things that she cares about. Like, I'll do two answers. I say one of the most attractive things is, again, the whole fact that, like, she like I'm like, she so because it's something she references a lot when she brings me up to other people. It's like, oh, you can't make him mad. Like, it's impossible. You can't make him angry. You can't temper with his feelings. Like, it's impossible. Like, if he's mad, then it's like ridiculous. So I think she really appreciates the fact that I'm, like, again, very stoic and very level-headed and neutral about things that seemingly would be like horrible situations. So I think she feels as if, because she can be very expressive and emotional and certain things. So I think she feels like she can rely on me to be very level-headed during tough situations, which I think she appreciates a lot. Other than that, I think she just appreciates that if I do something, or if I say I will do something, I always do. And if I say I'm going to do something, I always follow through until the end of time until I make that thing successful. So, it's just, I don't know, it's just how it's been with life. So I think she just trusts me in my ability to do what I'm going to say I'm going to do, and the fact that you can't really mess with my temperament at all. I would say is probably her favorite qualities. But who knows? Maybe she'll say something else.
Okay. So, what would be her least favorite thing about
How friggin' hard headed I can be.
you?
Some, sometimes sometimes well, yeah, sometimes I don't know what it is. Like, I have a very open mind about things, but sometimes I just don't hit. The message doesn't hit me, and I just think things don't make sense, and they continue to not make sense until it gets phrased a certain way, and then I got it. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. All right, let me change my whole framework now. But in the times in between that, I can be very hard headed and won't listen to certain things, and not all the time, but I won't listen to certain things, or I won't heed her advice. But I've learned to kind of just, if she's saying something, it's probably for a reason. And I've kind of leaned into the fact that she's smarter than me on all fronts. So I just have to trust her intuition more than my rational, analytical, stupid brain.
Okay. So, what's your favorite thing about yourself?
My curl, again, that's stupid, stupid joke,
it's
but
it's a
that's
nice
all I care
curl.
about.
It is.
Thank you. Um, Favorite thing about myself? Uh, Favorite thing about myself, um, I like the fact that no matter what the thing is that I'm trying to do, uh, I won't stop until I am adequately successful at the thing. Like, there's nothing I've given up on. Like, it just doesn't happen. It's impossible. I will literally die before I fail at just things that I care. If I don't care about, I'm like, oh, whatever. But if it's something that means a lot to me, and it's something that I think about on a day-to-day basis, it's my obsession. I will not stop until I become at least what I would deem adequately, like, successful at it. So I think that's probably my favorite thing, because then if you have that mindset, nothing is ever hard. It's just how much time did you dedicate towards the thing? Because I've never been exceptionally good at things. I've just been exceptionally good at being consistently doing something. Like, just doing one thing for an X amount of time equals good results. And I've always leaned back on that. Nothing's hard. It's just you haven't done it enough. So just put 10,000 hours in and you're fine. I like that.
What makes you insecure?
These are good questions. What makes you insecure? What makes you insecure?
Not being able to come up with an answer to a question on an interview.
Yes, exactly. It's bullshit. No, I'm kidding. I don't. I don't know if I have that feeling of insecurity anymore. I hate to give that answer like, oh yeah, you freaking idiot. What are you talking about? I just don't, because it's like it's again it's a back to my thing. Like, do I care about the thing? Okay, cool. I'm just gonna keep doing it until I'm good at it. So it's like, why be insecure? Because you just gotta take more time. Like, I don't know. Will I have envy? Sure. Like other people are ahead of me. I'm like, damn, people are doing well. It may be better at age wise. I don't know. I'll have some envy, which is a deadly sin. But but I don't know. Or what's the word again? Not shame. It's what's the word?
Insecurity?
Oh, insecurity. I don't think I have. I don't think I have anything that makes me
Okay, well then let's say,
insecure.
what's your biggest fear in life?
The biggest fear in life is not living up to the story that I want to write for myself. It, as of right now, my obsession is, well, is to be at a place at some point in the future where I am known basically throughout the world, whatever that ends up looking like. I don't know. It's just it's an egotistical, I albeit an egotistical kind of goal, but the goal is to kind of be someone who is known for doing something. Like whether that is like million plus YouTube channel, something like that. Like I love that, like Meet Kevin is like, oh, everybody knows Meet Kevin. Like he's kind of grown this, and he ran for governor, did all these things. So I want to do something great. I want to obviously help the better good, but I want to do something that would be worthy of putting in, like, I don't know, a book someday or something. Not a book, but I don't know, just being kind of segmented in a part of history somewhere.
Or
Even though I'll
people
be
write songs
forgotten
about you.
well after, people will not write songs about me, but so, something to be remembered by, even though memories don't really last longer than a few weeks anyway. So once you pass away, people will forget about you anyway. But I just want to live in that whenever that happens.
So do you
But maybe
think
that'll change.
do you, do you think that could be kind of contradictory to the whole third eye, you know, top level?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
It's the absolute opposite, which is hilarious. Because, like I said, I started out having no physical and earthly cares. There was
right.
nothing. I don't care about any limelight at all. But I told you, I've since opened up, like, sacral chakra, root chakra, and I've opened up this physical side of me that has manifested in this way, where this is kind of how I want to be. This is how I want to present myself. It's the goal that I'm after. And I also am backed by a little bit of reality. Like, do you really want to be that? No. And it's a little, people,
Yeah,
it's a little scary. Like, I don't know. Sometimes you get, like, I'm sure, like, me, Kevin used to have like stories like, oh, people would show up at his house and stuff. Like, I don't want
right.
that. I'd rather just be independently, like, okay, and then I'm fine. So, that's also, I'm backed by some reality checks as well. But yes, isn't it funny how diametrically opposed those are? And there's a reason for it. It's because up until recently, it's been absolute 100% the 180 opposite. So I think that's why it's kind of like a pushback, and that eventually I will revert to the mean, I think, in a few years, I would say, and kind of have a little of both.
What was that movie with
Yeah.
Brad Pitt where he aged backwards? Meet Joe Black. You're like the Meet Joe Black of chakras.
It really is that? I never watched the movie,
Yeah,
but
I never watched
that's
it either.
funny.
I just remember it like
Okay.
when it came out. Okay, so
That's funny.
what's the happiest moment you've had in your life so far? Other than this interview?
I don't, well, actually, the happiest I ever was the first interview we had on my channel with you. This is the best day of your life,
Just
right?
remember, your wife is gonna see this. Are you sure that wasn't maybe your
Right.
second happiest moment?
That was I was laughing so hard. No, to be honest, at the risk of sounding like a cliche, that wedding, man, that was like I couldn't stop crying with tears. I mean, with happy tears. That was like
Yeah.
one of the best moment. That was like the best moment of my life, honestly. Like that was an amazing. Just that whole day was just the happiest like ever. I feel. I would say that. I would say that whole day was like the happiest ever. The wedding, and then going out with friends, and going, doing the live stream and the high roller. Like that was just, and having good food with people, great people that we love. Like that was probably the best and the happiest ever. But uh, yeah, I would say that was. Yeah.
Yeah. You and Calby got pretty close over the time, and then particularly on that trip, right? Was that the first time you guys met in person?
No,
No. Oh, okay.
we met in Nashville,
Oh, that's right. That's right. You did
July, I think. Yeah.
the super long live stream.
Yeah, you commented on it. You said, "Wow, the face reveal in your sideways, Calby."
Yeah. I also told you your fly was
That's
dead.
right. Yes. Thanks. Appreciate
I
it.
still can't believe that worked.
Of course. What?
Okay. So,
God.
what's your biggest regret in life so far?
Excuse me. Biggest regret. It's funny. No one's ever asked me these questions. I actually love this. This is going to be great. When you ask other people, I can't wait to hear their answers. I love this. I'm happy I'm first. Thank you again. Biggest regret in life. Biggest regret in life. Oh God, it's gonna be another friggin' insecurity question. Biggest regret. Well, I have regrets. Like there was some times where I messed some things up. Like just acting a fool, like out with her, and made her really upset with me. Like a mistake I made, a couple of mistakes I made, made her really upset. And in those moments, I was like, "This is the worst. Like that's the worst feeling I ever had in my life. Like that was the happiest wedding, but that was the worst feeling I ever had. And like doesn't matter what you got going on in life. If she's upset with you, it's the worst feeling. It does not matter. So times like that I regret, but I also can't say I regret it because it happened so that I could never do it again. So that's just that.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, because she knows, like that's also another thing that I think she appreciates is everything that I've ever done that made her really upset and that I was wrong for. I always told her it'll never happen again. Never did. So you just have to stay true to that. You have to make sure it never happens again. But that's why I can't really say even regret anything because everything that I've done was for a reason. I believe wholeheartedly that everything does happen for a reason, and not necessarily like it's kind of built into the code of life, even though I think it is. But I think it's the reason is in the learning, the lesson that you learn through the thing that you made the mistake on or that you did right. Like everything that you can learn from and that you can take that with you for life. So probably just those little things I regret, but
Did you ever think that you might have lost her?
No.
No?
I never thought it was anything I did was bad enough to make her like question my entire being. Maybe like slightly once, but not really. Yeah, it was never anything that was like it was stuff that was like a bit out of pocket for me, out of character. But in retrospect, it wasn't really, and it's just way worse when it's like in the moment. I'm intentionally being vague, but nothing that ever made me think like, oh man, like in that moment, it felt like it though. Like in the moment, I felt like, man, like this is, I feel horrible. But I never had the thought like, man, is she gonna leave me? No, I never thought that. No.
Who's right more often?
She is for sure. Yeah. Like I said, I've had to lean into the fact that her intuition is way stronger than anything that I could ever create in my brain or even my intuition. She's like with people. Should we trust these people? Should we not trust these people? With even business. What should I do for this? Thoughts on things. Literally everything. I come to her for all of that, and sometimes I will debate her and I think I'm right on certain things, but in retrospect, she always ends up being right. So now I just kind of default after, as many times as it happened where she's just like, yes, she ended up being right, and she's just powerful on this level, like she just knows these things. Now I just default, and I'm like, yeah, like I'll still fight occasionally, like certain things I'll debate, but like I'm just in my head, I'm like 85 90% of the chance, 90% chance she's right, like with this situation. So that's what I default to now. Yeah, she's right.
Even if you didn't really feel that way, that's the right answer.
Right, yeah, exactly right.
Okay. So, what's the hardest thing that you've ever had to face in your life that you've had to overcome, and how did you overcome it?
The hardest thing you ever had to face. Hmm. Hardest? Oh yeah, absolutely. The hardest thing I ever had to face was moving down here, because it was going down. It was going against my family. It was words of just basically contempt and abandonment. Like basically like losing your family.
Wow.
It's like it shouldn't be that way, but that's how, like, losing your family to make this decision, and that's how it was for a good year. And talk to any of them for a full year, so, and then slowly work into it. But yeah, it's kind of how it was. So it was, yeah, that was the absolute hardest decision because of just the volume of people telling me that I'm wrong, and even me second guessing myself occasionally, but knowing in my heart that this was the right path that I have to go on. And this is something that I want to actually start urging somehow across videos, because I think it's the most powerful message that everybody needs to hear. For everybody, but specifically young men between the ages of 18 and 24, the hero's journey. This is a story where you're pulled into the abyss of life via some sort of conquest to go into the unknown, journey into the unknown, and to learn the lessons that life is trying to teach you. So this way you can learn those lessons and plant the seeds of the wisdom to everyone else who has not taken that leap. And if you reject that call to adventure around those ages, there's going to be other calls, but eventually you keep denying that call until you get to the point where you have like a midlife crisis. And that's why we have midlife crises, because you never actually made that call. You never took that call to adventure in the first place. So these are like stories that I've heard, again, from my philosophy side of my early days, and this was in my head the entire time. So it's like I have this philosophy mind of like, I need to take this hero's journey. This is my call to adventure. Like it absolutely has to be. Like, what else is making me, like, randomly just pulling me away 700 miles away from my family, and everyone's telling me I'm wrong? Absolutely everybody. Um, so that was absolutely the hardest thing, and now having gone through it, yes, absolutely necessary, and I'm very proud that I did do that. 2 years ago now, almost. Very proud that I ended up doing that, and I urge anybody who has that call, and not like, I don't know. You have to also discern what's like a fake call, what you would call like the lady in the red dress. There's
Right.
fake calls, and they're usually bad things. Maybe, are you familiar? Like, have you
Well,
heard
I
any of
know,
this?
like, not. Well, I was gonna say not personally, but yeah, maybe one personally, but yeah, I know what you're
Hmm.
saying. There's a lot of make sure you know that it's right.
Yeah, I think you always kind of know. It's, if not, it's like a 1% in your body and your heart. You kind of feel like this, like that would make a lot of sense. Like that
Yeah.
feels right. It feels like it's something I should do, no matter how scary it is. I think you take that call because, not because of what you're gonna do, but who you're gonna become during that process,
Right.
for sure.
And I would say it's a fine line between allowing yourself to make mistakes, but also not making like huge, like, the rest of your life is never going to be the same now mistakes. you know,
Right, right, yes.
I don't know how to say that more succinctly, but
Ruin your life, yeah.
yeah,
Just don't
yeah,
ruin your life, yeah.
yeah. There you go. Ruin your life. Thanks for showing me up on my own
Yeah.
podcast.
Uh, no, like the call to adventure is never going to be, oh my God, GameStop is about to hit 500. Put $100,000 into GameStop because this is going to change your life. That's never going to be the call to adventure. I'm sorry, it's just not.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be more physical stuff, you know.
Okay, so you brought up midlife crisis. So as far as midlife crisis goes, what's the worst possible way to die?
The worst way to die. Man, I gotta start asking people these questions when I'm interviewing people. I would love to hear people's answers. Um, the worst way to die?
There's a lot of
How
bad
about this
ones.
answer? You want to hear this answer? Worst way to die is to not fulfill your dreams and to die without fulfilling them.
This is this is the third time one of your answers has kind of encroached on a question later on.
Oh no.
You're killing me, man.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Uh,
Okay,
what would be
physically,
the worst physically? Yeah. Physically, um,
there's burning, there's drowning, there's being eaten whole, there's being eaten in pieces, there's falling, there's a lot.
no, I think no, you know what I think? I actually think the worst way to go. Well, is it just one singular moment? Because I think the worst way to go would be like that Game of Thrones, like when they capture. You ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
You know when they capture Lord I don't know his name, but he basically he locked him up in this thing. He locked him up in a cage, not a cage. He was like tied. He was chained up, and he was like cutting bits of pieces of himself off,
Yeah.
like day by day. And like if he just kept going like that, like if someone was doing that and trapped you for like decades, and then
Yeah.
eventually you die of like
Oh,
starvation or something, I think that would be the worst.
yeah, that's a
You
bad
just
one.
never, yeah,
That's a bad one.
it's yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
that's
talk
scary.
talking
Otherwise,
about
like probably got eaten by a shark, maybe that would be scary.
yeah. Okay, well, it's talking about getting eaten. Like I said, there's two ways to get eaten, right? There's something that's just gonna swallow you whole, or there's something that's gonna like tear you up into pieces. Which one's worse?
Oh, probably pieces, right? Like if you're getting attacked by a shark, man, you're just like trying to kick, but you're like in his 3D world, and you're trying to like do this, but he's just, and then you're just straight, and
Yeah,
then you drown too. Like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah. But
I think that's worse. Yeah,
there's
that's
something about knowing that you're being swallowed and that you're about to be digested alive.
well, I'm trying to think what would be big enough to do that? Like a whale, I guess, but
Yeah, well, that's probably it.
could you imagine? Oh my God, being inside a whale and you just all you're seeing is the teeth just all around, and it's just
Right?
like a dome. Like you try to swim up a tongue.
Ugh.
Like, oh my God, what do you
So
do?
always carry a knife with you when you're in the water. If something swallows you, just start stabbing it on the inside.
Here,
Maybe
like,
it'll throw you up.
it's a good point.
Like
That's a good
Geppetto.
point. Yeah.
Okay, so on the topic of
Hmm.
the death, on the topic of death,
The death. Oh, God.
when you're lying on your deathbed, what would you have need to have accomplished in your life for you to feel that your life as a whole was a success?
This is something I do think about. Uh, More recently, like we talk about like midlife crisis, like I feel like I've gone a little bit through like a quarter life crisis recently where it's like time's moving by really quickly and I'm not going to be this age forever, which is very scary for me because it's like I like being this age, I like being vital, moving around. I don't know, I'm just very fearful of that. So I think about this all the time. So now I'm coming into a zone where I'm like, take as many trips as you can, use these points and miles to bring it back to the channel, have good experiences with people, do interesting things, do creative things, do scary things as much as you can, because you're not going to be afforded this opportunity ever again. Like you're going to blow it if you don't. So I don't know. At this point, as I'm thinking about it, I don't think there's anything that I think I accomplish everything I want, and it still won't be enough
Yeah,
by on my deathbed. I still will think I could have done more.
yeah,
Like I should have not slept that extra hour. I could have been learning something else, or I don't think it'll ever be enough. I think I'll still hit whatever age, and I'll still think like, man, I probably could have done a little more, maybe a little bit, but maybe not. Maybe I'll hit a certain age where I think to myself like, you know what? I had great. I can say nothing else. If I say nothing else, I want to have had a great impact on people. Um, where everyone has I've somehow created something that everyone can learn from, something, grow better as a human, and kind of take some lessons that whatever I learn over these next however many years, and hopefully bestow that upon others. Not like I have anything great to offer, but maybe if I learn something, I could share that with others who are younger. Um, and that I've treated people correctly all my life, and I had a great, you know, great life with my wife and whatever kids, for the future, and made great friends along the way. I don't know. As long as there was a lasting good in the world,
Yeah.
that would be okay with me.
Yeah. I think that's how most people feel. I just want to, yeah, just feel like you left on a good note. You accomplished
Right.
you've affected somebody or some group of people in a positive way that's going to stick with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So this is what I call the rapid fire favorites. I have
Oh my
a
god.
series of what's your favorite questions, and just answer them as quick as you can.
I'll try.
Okay, you ready?
Okay. Yes.
Favorite band or musician?
First thing that pops in my head, Nickelback, but it's not. It's not. it's, so it's not at all. It's just my first thought. I don't know. Oh God, I don't know. Is that a good answer? Favorite band
Yeah.
or musician? Oh God, I can't answer this. Just go with Nickelback. I can't answer. I don't know. It's too many random. I don't know. It's too many awesome things.
No
Too
matter
many
how many
experiences with certain music.
no matter how
Huh?
many people I interview, if I ever interview anybody again, that will always be the best answer to that question.
You think so?
I
Okay.
think so.
I hope
That answer
so.
will never be topped. Okay. Favorite
Wow.
song?
Uh. Oh Lord. These forgetting questions. I'm trying to answer quickly.
If there was a song at your wedding,
Uh.
just pick that one.
Okay. Lover by Taylor Swift.
Okay. Oh.
No. Sorry. Happier, Marshmallow. That's our song. So
Okay.
I get good feelings from that always.
Favorite movie?
Right now, Elvis, the new one.
Favorite book?
Never read a book.
Favorite food?
Never eat food. Favorite food is can I my favorite favorite food is just honestly just my good old turkey and rice. Love my turkey and rice, man.
Favorite vacation spot?
As of right now, Charleston, South Carolina.
Favorite credit card issuer?
American Express, baby. You know who it is. Not Credit One.
Oh,
Sorry.
all right. This interview's over. Disconnect.
Oh no. Damn it. Click.
Favorite thing to do on a lazy Sunday afternoon?
Uh, Go to the gym. Oh, is that not lazy?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that's
Oh,
lazy.
oh,
But if that's your
sit
answer, that's
by,
your answer. That's good.
sit by the. All right, fine. Yeah, go
That
to the
goes
gym.
back to the
That's
when
fine.
you're on your deathbed, you won't be laying there like, ah, I should have went to the gym that time instead of just sitting on the
Yes.
couch watching football.
Yeah, click.
Okay. We're done with the
Mm.
rapid fire. Um,
Oh,
I don't know how rapid that was, but that's okay.
try. I tried. I gave it the high school try.
There you go. Okay. If you could, this is the question that you kind of encroached on earlier. But just in case anybody doesn't remember what you said, if you could give
Hmm.
one message to the entire world, what would it be?
Hmm. It's got to be the best message, which is nothing matters in life, so you might as well do everything while you can. That's it. Nothing matters. No, everything's meaningless. When you die, you'll be forgotten. So you might as well do everything that you want to do, as long as you don't hurt other people. But do as many things as you possibly do. Whatever you find awesome, funny, cool, creative, something that you wanna make a business, create a business. You wanna go out with that girl. Do you want to start a new job? Do you want to create a YouTube channel? Do you want to get in shape? Do you want to learn a language? Do you want to travel and go live abroad? Anything you want to do in life, do it in a good way that you can like live sustainably and you have food on the table, but do it because you might as well do it. If it doesn't work out, you learn from it and you just don't do it again. If it works out, well, now you're living a happier, healthier life, and as a result, so there's no wrong answer. As long as you follow, I would say, follow your heart, and it's going to take you down some crazy, crazy paths, sometimes dark paths, but at the end, you're going to become a better human for it, and that is the reason you should do it. So nothing matters, do everything.
All right. All right.
How's
And
that?
now the deepest question for last. All the other questions kind of led up to this one. You ready?
Classic gold.
Nope, not that. Not that.
Okay.
You're well established on
Sorry.
how you feel about that.
All right.
No,
Yeah,
no.
okay.
No, but I tried to
Oh no.
like keep the soft questions at the top and then kind of get deeper as we went on. And it's just kind of mental preparation. Well, besides the rapid fire favorites, but it's kind of mental preparation for this. Boxers, briefs, or zipperless pants?
I thought so. Boxers. It's been like that my whole life.
Boxers. You like to have the freedom without the danger.
I love the freedom. Freedom without the danger, baby. That's right. That's right. I didn't want to actually give my answer out, but you know what? There's no greater answer than boxers. So, good night, everybody. Saturday Night Live.
All right. Well, that's the end of my questions. Is there anything that you want to say to whoever happens to be watching this?
No, I liked my ending note. I don't want to say anything else. I'm done. Over with. The last thing I want to say is I appreciate you, Richie. This was a lot of fun, and I think you're going to have some amazing conversations with some great people over the coming weeks and months. So thank you for letting me be your first.
Yeah.
Your first for a lot of things in life. And this. Anyway, hey now, but no, I appreciate you letting me be on, man. This is great. Great.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you being my first guest, if not my only guest. We'll see how that goes. I appreciate you saying that, you enjoyed the questions and stuff, because I'll be honest, like beforehand, I'm doing the questions and I'm like, all right, yeah, these are good. And then as we're doing it and as I'm asking you, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, anyone who started this video probably checked out by now. That was a dumb question. So, for the insecurity question, that would probably be my answer. Like, you know what I mean? But no, I do appreciate
really?
that. Yeah. So thank you.
Oh, actually, yeah, that is true. I do have that insecurity where I hope I'm saying something of value. I hope I'm not being boring or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I'm with you. No, I think for the people that care, they'll watch. At the end of the day, it'll be fun for somebody. Like I would watch, like Spencer's, like if Spencer does, any of these guys in the community, like Calby, Luke, all these guys, Chad, I would want to watch it. So I'm guessing someone else would want to watch something of me, maybe. I don't know. But some people will want to watch.
Well, if nothing else, they're just going to want to stare at that curl for an hour and 40 minutes. So.
Thank you. Yes, that's right.
All right, man. Well, Anthony, thanks again. I appreciate it. I really do. I had a good time, and you said you did. So thanks, bud.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
And next time we'll do that haircut.
Next time. Yeah, next time. I know it's getting long. Yeah, I gotta cut it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for checking in. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe we'll do it again with someone else. We'll see. In the meantime, stay happy. God bless.